on for you right now. Ebola virus has now killed more than 1,000 people, including a Spanish priest named Miguel Pajares. Experimental Ebola drug on its way to Liberia. Breaking news about the deployment of the U.S. Special Forces in Iraq. And let's find out if this man named Darren Wilson will go to jail. And see what Jane Fonda's fitness routines are. And the 2014 FIBA World Cup in Spain has started. Let's see who players to watch for and who misses the league. But this is where we begin. Cheska Smith will inform us first on today's weather for us. Cheska.
Good morning everyone, this is Jessica Smith with you. Have rain, snow and heavy snow across town.
Several systems coming out short between now and in the end of the weekend for the west and will likely total as much as 7 inches of rainfall in the Northway area of San Francisco. As much as 26 inches of snow in Portland, Oregon, associated of which was called the Pineapple Express, is an atmosphere of river moisture that extends from Hawaii to the Pacific coastline. It will be in place several days, hoping with the dry but certainly not ending it by the way storm system pushes east coast. We do expect this storm to stay separate now, meaning that we will not likely see a monster storm for this northeast going to the end of the weekend. However, there are periods of snow and minor snow as well for the Midwest, which will also deal with bitter cold. Again today, winter advisories for folks at the Great Plains and Midwest this morning.
Thank you, Cheska. As more than 1,000 people died because of Ebola virus, the World Health Organization authorized to use experimental drug. Sample doses of it will be sent to Liberia. Here's our CNN correspondent Tony Thompson to tell us more about it. Tony.
The government of Liberia says that sample doses of the experimental Ebola drug CMAP will be sent to treat doctors who have contracted the deadly virus. The White House and Food and Drug Administration approved the Liberian request for the drug to be made available to them. Liberia identified itself as the recipient of the drug after the company that makes CMAP said earlier that its supply was exhausted after fulfilling the request of a West African country, which it did not name. The delivery of the CMAP to Liberia follows a request made on Friday after a Liberian President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf to President Barack Obama. The sample dose will be brought to Liberia by U.S. government representative this week, the Liberian government said. A World Health Organization panel convened Monday to discuss the ethics of using experimental medicine to fight Ebola in West Africa. In a current outbreak, the virus is believed to have infected 1,848 people and killed 1,013, according to WHO's latest figure. There are no proven vaccine or drugs to treat Ebola, but CMAP was given to 2 American missionaries infected with the disease early last week. Both patients had to give consent to receive the drug, knowing it had never been tested to humans before. Their conditions are said to be improving. CMAP is also given to Miguel Pajares, a Spanish priest infected with the deadly virus, working in Liberia. Spain's Ministry of Health announced Saturday the drug was sent from Geneva, Switzerland to Madrid, where Pajares being treated in a special isolation unit at Hospital Carlos III.
Thank you, Tony. Now let's see if this man named Darren Wilson go to jail.
Michael Brown was killed by Officer Darren Wilson on August 9. He was laid to rest more than 2 weeks later at Friendly Temple Missionary Baptist Church in St. Louis, Missouri. It's a fact that 18-year-old Michael Brown was shot and killed by a white Missouri cop. It's anybody's guess whether Officer Darren Wilson will be convicted or even charged with a crime for fatally shooting the black teenager. And it's just because the criminal probe of the fatal August 9 shooting is being led by Procop St. Louis County Prosecutor Bob McCulloch. The Justice Department, which is conducting its own investigation, has to not only establish that Wilson acted with excessive force, they have to prove the Ferguson, Missouri cop violated Brown's rights.
Breaking news about the deployment of the U.S. Special Forces in Iraq. Let's go straight to Pentagon correspondent Tony Thompson. What are you learning from?
Yes, Chief. CNN has now confirmed the U.S. Special Forces deployment in Iraq. Let's see the clip.
CNN has now confirmed and learned in fact that about a dozen or so U.S. Special Forces have spent the last 24 hours on Sinjar Mountain in Iraq, where 20,000 ICDs are trapped in that area. Where U.S. are now contemplating a rescue mission, the U.S. Special Forces went there about 24 hours ago, spent overnight there to assess the situation, to try get a fix how many people are there, what the ground looks like, could they land the helicopters there, how would they get the people down off the mountain, exactly what the situation is. I want everyone to know that CNN was aware of this information 24 hours ago, but we made the decision to withhold it out of concern when U.S. officials asked us to withhold it until the troops were off the mountain. They were picked up short time ago by U.S. helicopters. There's a good deal of concern about security situation there, so they wanted us to withhold it and not reveal what we knew for the last 24 hours out of concern for the security of U.S. Special Forces that went there. There's a public knowledge now that is where U.S. has sent additional forces to conduct this assessment.
This CNN correspondent Tony Thompson reporting.
Thank you, Tony. Now let's move on to the Hollywood news. Let's see what Jane Fonda's fitness routines are. Cheska Smith has the report.
Well, she's a Hollywood legend and the exercise girl behind the 80s aerobic craze, Jane Fonda. Now 76 years young, believe me, looks good as ever. She is ready to celebrate the relaunch of Fitness First and to sit down to talk about her incredible life.
You were the original motivator. I mean, you owned the 80s when it came to fitness.
Yeah. You are the original motivator. You own the 80s when it comes to fitness. And it's all about you.
No, it's because what I did worked.
Ready and reach, reach, reach. Press it out and up.
Spend a Saturday afternoon doing Jane.
Yeah, doing Jane, that's right. And it became a social experience. And I thought of that when I was at the Fitness First gym here. Like the doing Jane thing, there's small groups, and it becomes a social experience like doing Jane did.
We've come a long way from leggings and black. What's relatable to those fabulous video craze from the 80s?
But it's not just the leggings and lycra, because actually there were a few people in there that had leggings and lycra.
What's it like for you looking back at those fabulous videos from the 80s?
I'm very proud of what I did. Women weren't supposed to have muscles and be fit back then. And that it changed everything.
Down and take it to the left. Down and up.
You have an incredible life inside you. How much of you that you put down to consuming fitness so much to your life?
I think it had a lot to do with it. I come from a long line of depressed people, that I've been fit most of my life. I think has helped my mind as much as my body. I'm 76 and I've never been happier.
Once upon a time when you've been so easy to say so easily on 76 now, because Hollywood is sorry with the observation with the youth culture.
Yeah, it still is. It's so hard. I decided, I think it's important to let women know that just because you're older doesn't mean life is over. I'm not only older, but I have a fake hip and a fake knee, and I feel lucky to be alive at a time where if something doesn't work, you just replace it.
Where in the world says causing the Hollywood at the moment about pleasing more and more on his great roles.
Oh, more and more Australian actors coming and taking the award.
But how goes Kate Blanchett? Isn't she fabulous? And of course, you're still acting as well, just played Nancy Reagan.
Really, the government took everything.
Isn't she fabulous?
Oh, my Lord. She's one of the truly greats. She'll go down in history.
And
next week.
I'm gonna be there, Miss Reagan?
No. Not as a...
That role, of course, Nancy Reagan, was in The Butler a lot of talk that Oprah has been snubbed by not getting that Oscar nomination. Do you think she was robbed?
I think she gave a great performance.
I don't know how many stories you're gonna hear, because they done swore him to some kind of secret code.
I have to admit, you are one of my favorite comedies of all time. They put it back with Robin Rainbow.
Yeah, I've got to go over the affidavits. See, this furrier is suing a woman for non-payment of bills. I've got the furrier.
I have a black lace nightgown. Wife, but don't be angry with me. I love you very much, and I'm very sexy.
Comedies don't always, have legs.
Would you rather be doing another movie together?
But it's one of Neil Simon's best. And I did 3 movies with Bradford. I fell in love with him every time.
Was finally get to meet Jane Fonda in the flesh. We've spoken over the satellite a few times, but it was great to sit down, have a chat, and if you haven't spent it rainy days, Saturday afternoon watching sunset in the park, I recommend it. Really does it in desert time.
Thank you, Cheska. The 2014 FIBA World Cup in Spain has already started. Who are the players to watch for and who missed the league? Let's find out with this report.
Team USA has announced that Kevin Durant will in fact not be joining the squad in Spain, but the reasons are purely his own. Paul George of course suffered a gruesome leg fracture during the USA showcase in Las Vegas. The Pacers have not established a timetable for George's return, but doctors who have not examined George say a full recovery from this kind of injury could take 12 to 8 months. While Spurs guard Manu Ginobili suffering from a stress fracture in his right leg during the recent NBA championship run has been officially ruled out for the ongoing FIBA World Cup, the Argentine Basketball Federation confirmed via statement. And here are the players you have to watch for in the 2014 FIBA World Cup in Spain. Angola's 6'4" shooting guard Carlos Moraes. Without Manu Ginobili competing for Argentina, the squad is decisively thinner, particularly at the guard positions, and Luis Scola is a man best suited to pick up the scoring slack. Coming in as a rookie next NBA season is Australia's Dante Exum, Brazil's point guard Marcelino Huertas, the 6'8" shooter of Croatia Bojan Bogdanovic, Francisco Garcia of Dominican Republic, the 6'9" Asim Murray of Egypt, Finland's Drew Gooden, the small forward of France Nicolas Batum, Giannis Antetokounmpo of Greece, Iran's Arsalan Kazemi, Korea's Sung-Min Cho, Jonas Valanciunas of Lithuania, Mexico's 6'3" point guard Gustavo Ayon, New Zealand's 6'8" forward Isaac Foru, Philippines' naturalized player Andre Blatch, JJ Barea of Puerto Rico, the 6'6" Gorgui Dieng of Senegal, the 20-year-old point guard of Serbia Vasily Mikic, Slovenia's Goran Dragic, Spain's point guard Ricky Rubio, Enis Kanter of Turkey, Ukraine's Sergei Gladier, and United States' Derrick Rose.
Thanks for joining us today. See you again tomorrow for another World News.
In behalf of Tony Thompson in Washington, D.C., I'm Cheska Smith.
And I'm Shay Lewis. Good morning again, everyone. Goodbye.